Hey, Jason Fladlin here. On behalf of my Rapid Crush company, publishers and proponents of the plan, we welcome you here today. I'm here to introduce to you Dan, the man with the plan, Hollings. Dan came into my life a long time ago, over a decade ago, and we've been working professionally with Dan off and on for the last decade, and he's always been a visionary. He's always come in and shown things that nobody else can see and then built systems that help people do really well online. And this is no exception. Well, actually, this is the exception because this is exceptional. It's taken to heights the customers that we could collaboratively reach to something I've never seen before. And so when Dan came to us with this crypto opportunity, I was not interested at all. You're going to hear that story. I didn't decide up until that point. I didn't spend one penny to convert it over to crypto. But by the time we were done, I was like, dude, not only am I ready to go in as a member of the plan, I want to support it. And so we worked out a deal. We collaborated together to do the best that we can to help Dan do the best that he can so you can do the best that you can. And that's why we're all here today. So I'm going to have Dan take it over. Dan's going to show you step by step. He's going to take you through the journey of how he discovered this, how it works. And then if you want it to work for you, we'll give you a little special deal to get you started. Dan, you there, my friend?
I am here. Thanks so much, Jason. And I want to welcome all of you here today. I'm going to do my darndest to not bore you. And I've got a lot to go through, but there's nothing complicated, nothing scary. And I'm not going to twist your arm to do anything that you probably don't already want to do. But I'm going to start by talking about something kind of dear to my heart right now, and that's bicycles. I just bought a Stromer bicycle. If you don't know what it is, look it up. They're an incredible, kind of like the Rolls Royce of bicycles out of Switzerland. And you should get one. I really think you should get one. They're a little hard to get here in the United States. And if you can't afford it, then all you have to do is just wait. And I'm going to show you how to get the money in a moment. But I want to have you kind of go back in time a little bit when you first got your first bicycle. And I want you to think how excited you were. You knew that you were going to be able to ride this thing, but yet you knew that your parents would have to, take you out and kind of help you a little bit, and you had to have some training wheels to make sure you didn't tip over and break your head or end up in a ditch. But nonetheless, you were so excited about the opportunity to be able to go out and ride with your friends and go up to the store, around the block, or what have you, that you just focused in on that. And lo and behold, riding a bicycle today is no big deal. But here's my question. As you were about to get your bicycle and as you got on it those first few times, did you ever once think about all the people before you that had learned how to ride a bicycle? I mean, did you even care if some kid, 2 years earlier got on a bike and tipped over and, bruised his elbow? I mean, did you really care? I mean, were you reading the newspaper to find out how many bicycle crashes there were in the last month or the last week? I mean, did you really care? Did you even really care how much the bike costs? If prices go up and down, fluctuate a little bit? Hell no, you didn't care. You just wanted to get on that because that bike was your future, right? As a kid, you saw that as an advance, being able to allow you to do things that you could never do before, just walking around in your tennis shoes. Well, that's what this experience, crypto, can be. I'm going to show you a new bicycle here. And I've got a team here, an extraordinary team. I'm going to introduce you to many of them. And they will help you to learn how to ride this crypto bicycle so that you could change your life totally. Okay. I said earlier, if you can't afford to buy a Stromer, you could possibly, if you knew how to make money the way we make money. And so your experience today is going to be one where I'm going to introduce you to this, and we're going to show you how you can put on training wheels. I mean, literally, you're going to be able to do crypto. And this is a guarantee here. You can't make many guarantees in crypto, but this is a guarantee. We're going to show you how to do it 100% safe in the beginning with training wheels on, because we teach everything we do in demo mode with play money before you ever even think about putting real money in. So there's no risk whatsoever. And at some point, once you feel like you could ride that bicycle without the training wheels, and you can do it because you did it before, right? You learned how to ride. Then you can invest real money and decide on your own if you'd like to have this be part of what drives your new future closer. So that's what we're going to do here. Let me share my screen. I'm going to tell you a story about how I got here. I'm kind of like the last guy that should be teaching or even talking about crypto. Let's see here. My screen's pulling up. There we go. Because my background's not finance. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a tax expert or anything like that. In fact, my background is in music. Okay. Have a degree in music. I used to teach it at the university level. But here I am talking about crypto, which just goes to prove anybody can do it. But this all started back a little while ago. I was working with a friend of mine. I'll show you in a moment, Tony, and he introduced me to crypto, and I started doing it. And now here I am, many years later. I've been doing this for about, 5 years or so. And what I discovered is that this is the one thing that I can do where I don't have to really work. I mean, I do nothing. There's a quote by Malcolm Forbes. It's the hardest work of all is doing nothing. And I saw this quote many years ago, and I thought Malcolm Forbes was just a nut. I mean, I knew he had a lot of money and he started the magazine and all of that, but this quote just didn't resonate with me. I had always burned the candle at both ends. I worked my butt off in order to make the money I did. I had years where I did extraordinarily well. I had years where I was flat busted. I know many of you can relate, but doing nothing wasn't on my, list of things to do. But that's what I'm doing now. And the reason, it's not like a trick, quote. The trick to it is the fact that if you can employ either people or computers or artificial intelligence, or we're going to talk a lot about what's called bots, that a lot of the hard work is done for you. And guess what that allows us to do? You'll be able to do it. Nothing. I can sit on my back porch and play my guitar. I can go on vacations with my family. I can do whatever I want because I have artificial intelligence working for me, doing something in the crypto marketplace that I personally, as a human being, I couldn't do it. So that's kind of interesting. And you're going to hear me talk about doing nothing more and more as we go forward here. So you'd have to get good at it. And it's harder than you think because, I don't know, it seems like everybody wants to kind of meddle with things and turn gears and press buttons and all of that. And there's very little of that to do. Some people think this is a joke, but I have a to-do list here. And my to-do list is basically a blank book. And I get up in the morning, and when it comes to crypto, I do nothing. After lunch, when it comes to crypto, I do nothing again. And right before I go to bed every night, guess what? I do nothing once again. When it comes to crypto, I pop over to my computer and kind of peek in real quick because I'm curious, how much money I've made, if I've made any in a particular day. But that's about it. Okay. What makes my money takes me about 10 or 15 minutes to set up, and then I don't touch it often for months. And I'm going to show you live examples of this later, lots of examples, in fact. And I'm going to also show you my journey to this point where I'm sharing with you my secret formulas and how I cracked crypto. Before I do all of that, let's do the legal part. And let me share with you our disclaimer. We all know that crypto is risky. It's speculative. And not only can you lose money, I'll guarantee you that if you do crypto, you probably will lose money. I mean, the trick to it is that you're going to lose from time to time, but you don't want to lose more than you win. And when you win, you want to win more than when you lose. And you need to face that fact. If anybody's telling you that you're going to come into crypto and you're never going to lose money, they're basically lying. You're going to lose some money sometime along the way. But I will show you how this is managed so that you come out on the winning end. At least that's what I do, and that's what we teach in our plan. Also, you must know that I'm going to show you a lot of examples here. Any example I show you on the screen is not, indication of what you're going to do. That varies from person to person. I'm not a financial advisor. You're not going to get any financial advice today. I'm not a tax expert. I'm not an attorney. I'm none of that. I'm just, Dan Hollings, former musician, now someone who makes their money 100% off of what I'm going to show you how to do today in the crypto space. And that's it. And as far as the doing nothing part, I said it before, I'll say it again. Uh, you do a lot of nothing when you do this, and that's because you're going to be setting up artificial intelligence in order to do much of the work for you, and you can spend your time living life. What's wrong with that? So let's get started. I was the last person to want to even do crypto. I know you heard Jason mention it earlier. Maybe he was the second to last, but we weren't really interested in this. I had a friend. He's somebody that I had done business with for a long, long time. His name's Tony. Here's Tony with his wife, Bria. And Tony and I had done a lot of projects together. He called me up one day and said, Dan, you got to buy some crypto. This is back in 2017. And I said, Tony, I'm not that interested. And I just kept telling him, no, no, no. He kept pestering the heck out of me. And I finally I bought some Bitcoin to shut him up. But my gosh, was that a mistake? Because once I bought it, then he was calling me every day to ask me how it was doing. And I would check. And every time I looked, it was worth more. I think I paid somewhere $7,000, $8,000 back at the time. But every time I would look at it, it was worth more. And I started thinking, wow, Tony, this is kind of interesting. I mean, what's wrong with buying something one day for $8,000 and the next day it's worth $8,000, and $100, and the next day is $8,200. I mean, I liked it, all right. And then I started getting into it. I started thinking that I knew what I was doing. I started kind of playing around and looking at charts and doing all of the stuff that you get addicted to. I don't do any of this stuff anymore, but that's what I was doing back then. And I started kidding myself. I started fooling myself into thinking I knew what I was doing and I was some kind of a crypto expert or what have you. And I just kept making money. And boy, I made one heck of a lot of money as we worked our way through 2017. Christmas comes, the new year's about to start. As we moved into 2018, the market started doing something I'd never seen it do before. It started going in the wrong direction. And all the things that I was doing before stopped working. I started just bleeding money. I lost money and I tried this and I lost more and I lost more. And I said, Tony, what the heck's going on? And he didn't have an answer either. And I ended up losing every single penny that I put in the market, all of it. It was gone. I was embarrassed. I'm supposed to be this guy that teaches people how to make money. For the last, 20, 30 years, what I've done is I've helped people make money in various things, Amazon and online stores and social media, all that kind of stuff. All right. I've helped, projects like The Secret, the famous movie that did, gosh, what was it? 300 million in sales. It was on Oprah and the cover of Time magazine, no, not Time, Newsweek, all those kinds of things. I was pretty good at it. But this, I was a flop. So I told everybody I was getting out. Okay. Not many people knew, but I told everybody that did know I was getting out. But in reality, I kept going. I kept working at it. Now, we entered into this period of time that is now known as the crypto winter. It was this period in 2018 where crypto went down, and a lot of people thought that it was just going to just disappear or go to zero or what have you. And the reason is because this bull run that I had happened upon in 2017 that just, catapulted me into a lot of money only to be lost, but it did catapult me up for a while. It was a bull run that was based on just the fear of missing out. Back then, a lot of people were getting into crypto, not because there were any fundamentals underneath it, not because there was a utility to crypto, not because there was even much of a future to it. People were trying to figure it out back then, but people started buying it just because of fear of missing out. They thought that, wow, it's going up, I'll buy it, and you would just buy it and hope some other fool came along and bought it from you for a higher price. And that was it. It's different today. It's very, very different today, but that was the beginning of what I'm about to share with you. That was the beginning of this thing that I call the plan. And I got in my closet and I started figuring things out. And the first breakthrough that I had was when I figured out that if I could make friends with the thing that scared everybody. I mean, what is it that scares you about crypto? Tell me. What scares you about crypto? Okay. You're not scared because you're going to make money, okay? You're not scared, well, maybe you're scared because your spouse is going to find out you're investing in it or something like that. But I mean, most people are scared of the volatility. You're reading the news, you hear on social media, your friends tell you, gosh, your crypto, it's, I hear people can make money in it, but man, it's just all over the place, it's volatile. Well, I thought if I could make friends with that, if I could somehow figure out how to benefit from that volatility, Maybe that's the secret. Well, what I figured out is I zoomed in down to the minute by minute level of crypto. I mean, crypto swings day by day, up and down, all over the place. But at the minute by minute level, it also has volatility. I call it the wiggle. And I figured out a way through automation that I could start to make money just off of the wiggle. I could count on it wiggling all the time. And what I discovered is that I could make money a lot safer than any other way I had tried. And believe me, I tried it all, okay? I chased every moonshot you can imagine. Stop that stuff. That's crazy. I started making money off of this wiggle, and I was making like a nickel or dime or quarter. And already you're thinking, God, this guy's nuts. I mean, here he is, all of this to make a nickel, a dime, and a quarter. That's right. That's what I was making. I told Tony, I said, I don't know if we can scale this, but I can tell you this. I'm making money, pocket change, and it's very consistent. It was coming in minute after minute after minute. And I didn't have to worry about whether the market was going up or down, all those big swings. It didn't matter because I was down in the minutia, so to speak, and it was just wiggling away. Whether it would go up or down or what have you, it was always wiggling. And I was just making this vending machine-like money off of the wiggle. And I said, Tony, if we could scale this up and just do it enough, maybe it would add up. So that's what I did. And we just started doing more of it and experimenting with different formulas and what have you. And lo and behold, boom. This thing got so juicy. It got so good. I told Tony, I said, look, let's not tell anybody. I mean, why bother? I mean, I got some gray hairs. I figured I could sit on the back porch, play my guitar, and let this automation just wiggle money out of the market all day and night, 24 hours a day. And the money was sweet. And Tony said, okay. He said, look, we'll just keep it a secret. And that was the plan. I was being selfish. I wasn't going to teach anybody until Elaine called me up. Now, Elaine was a good friend of mine. In fact, she was working with me in other projects. Elaine had originally introduced me to Tony years back. Elaine calls and she said, Dan, I'm going to get into crypto. I'm putting my money into Bitcoin and some Ethereum and other things. And I'm studying about the blockchain. And I said, Elaine, stop. You're going to lose money. 95% of people that put money in crypto, guess what? They lose it. Okay? Some of you that are listening, I bet you've lost money, right? You're part of that 95%. And you will continue to be if you don't get a plan, if you don't figure out how to shake money out of this market. Okay? You're not going to do it on the ways that are commonly taught. You don't need to learn how to trade. You don't need to buy a bunch of indicators and charts and strap yourself to a monitor night and day and have sleepless nights and all that crazy stuff. I've been there and done that. You don't need to do that. I told Elaine, look, if you're going to do it, she was dead set on it because she thought the blockchain was the future, and indeed it is. I said, I'll show you what Tony and I are doing. So I got on Zoom. I shared with her, what we were doing. And a few minutes into it, she starts making money, nickels, dimes, and quarters. They're just coming in. Now, the cool part of this is that when you make these nickels, dimes, and quarters, it's free and clear money. It comes straight into your exchange. I call it into my pocket, but it's coming into your exchange, meaning that you can spend it right away. But yet the deal keeps going. It's not like you have to wait until price goes up and then you try to sell it and you get your money and then you're out until you jump back in again. That's the way most trading is, where you have to keep finding the next potential moonshot. You catch one in a lifetime, and the rest of them, they're not moonshots. I mean, they're going to hell in a handbasket is where they're going. That's generally the way it works for most people. Well, anyway, long story short, Elaine starts making money. She's making wiggle profits like Tony and I. She says, can I share it with my friend Daniel? Now, Daniel got on. I shared with him what we were doing, and he starts making money as well. He brought his son in, Anthony. I show Anthony how to do it. He starts making money off the wiggle as well. Now, all of these people aren't just strangers. These are now the people that will be helping you once you start making your wiggle profits, okay? In other words, these people became so convinced that this was the way, the plan, that they've come on board and they're all helping the members, you eventually, to do exactly what we're doing. All of these people, let me introduce you to more. There's Ian. Ian is my COO. He's on a plane right now, flying from Israel to visit his kids in California. But I showed him what we were doing. He started making money off of the wiggle. He would be with us today, but he's in an airplane. Everybody else is here. Mikey was my marketing guy. He's down in Florida. and he started doing it. He's making money. We have Ashley here who does PR and content management with our company, and she is making money right away. I showed her how to do it. And then there's Jason and Will. Now, you heard from Jason earlier. Will is his partner. And here's what happened. Elaine said, Dan, you cannot keep this as a secret. You can't just share it with your buddies and friends and people that are working with you, okay? You've got to share it with the world. And I said, why? And she said, look, this is back. Now, think back. This was back when COVID was starting. People were out of work. The world was in trouble. We're still in trouble, okay? And it's hard to make money for some people sometimes. And even if you have a good job, even if you have a business that you're running, you always can use extra. And this was a way to do it because it didn't require a lot of extra time. You could still have your job, you could still run a business, and you could make money in crypto because you're doing a lot of nothing. She said, you got to share this with the world. I said, well, I like to teach. I've always done that. That's my profession. But I didn't want to do any marketing. I was getting spoiled doing nothing. And I said, if you can get the students here, I'll teach them, but I don't want to do the marketing. So we reached out to Will and Jason. They're really good at what they do. And I knew that if they liked this, they could market it. But they didn't like crypto. Well, we kind of tricked them a little bit. They got on the phone and I showed them what we were doing. And for the first 5 minutes, they were just like glassed over and they didn't really care. All of a sudden, it seemed to start clicking. They got up to the edge of their chair. They started understanding what I was talking about. I eventually set them up. They both started on the same day and same investment, and they were making money off the wiggle too. We decided to share it with some people to see if there was like a market for this. And the idea was we would send out an email to a few people and see if they would want to, I didn't have a course or anything, so would they like to just spend some private time with me, and I'd show them what I was doing. And I said, well, why don't we charge $10,000? See, I kind of didn't want people to sign up because I figured if I charged too much, that people wouldn't sign up and I could spend my time on the back porch. That was my secret plan. I was trying to really do nothing. Well, we did that. We shot out the email, $10,000, spent 2 hours with Dan, and he'll show you how to make money off the wiggle. And so many people signed up. It was ridiculous. It was just, I was going, gosh, did this backfire? I was trying to get people not to sign up, and they were signing up. I couldn't get to all the people. I was doing 3 or 4 people a day for weeks. And I did that until I got through, I think it was around 20 or so people. And I said, too much. Then we were trying to unsell this thing, give people their money back, but people wanted to know what I was doing. So here we are. I decided that I would create this program, a training course with all of the information so that you could learn to do this. And the only thing that really was important to me, because we're dealing with money here, and it's your money, right? That's the most important money in the world is your money. I said there has to be superlative support. And so all of these people came on board to provide, most incredible support you've ever seen. And then we hired, now I think we have 40 or 50 people in just our support area. And these aren't just people that just say, oh, I got your email and, we'll get back to you. I'm talking about people that know the answers to the questions. They read them and answer them usually within an hour or two, so that you can actually do this and feel comfortable that there's a flow of information between you and the investment opportunities and earning wiggle that we're talking about. So that's it. Here's my dog, Skippy. He was with me all along the way. He's still here. And he's got this incredible ability to know the futures in crypto, but he can't, so he's never told me. But just looking in his eyes, I always feel like something good is in our future. The only thing missing is you. The rest of us, we're wiggling our way to wealth. It sounds silly, but that's what we're doing. And you may be thinking, how in the heck can nickels and dimes and quarters really add up to anything worthwhile? Well, I'm going to show you screenshots of a period of time. This is a little while back. The dates are all here. You'll see it. And this will show you a period of time, about a year and a half of screenshots of my account and the money I was making from these nickels and dimes and quarters over this period of time. Then, in order to make this relevant for today. Then I'm going to bring you in and show you actual live accounts. We have demo accounts that are running. I think we always have about 50 of them running. I'll probably show you 20 or so. And you'll get to see live in the market what it's like today through these accounts, so that by the time we're done, you'll have a historical view of what's possible. It's not a guarantee, but it is a historical view of what happened to me and also what's happening in the current market through our demo bots. You will be able to run demo bots exactly like the ones I'm going to show you. But what I'm going to show you now, these aren't demos. These are the real bots that I was running back a little while ago. Now, these numbers are pretty impressive. And I'm going to go back to August of 2020 and start there and show you about a year and a half. But what I want to talk about in the blue circle there, you see that it says $94,649. You're thinking, wow, that sounds pretty good. That's probably your gross, after you pay your exchange fees and all of that, how much were you left with? That isn't gross. That's my in-pocket net profit after all exchange fees are paid, everything. And guess what? Even though that money is coming in, the deal is still going on. When I say the deal, the trades and the wiggle and the vending machine profits that are coming in, they're still coming in. So this is a very, very different way of making money in crypto as compared to anything else. Almost all other ways are make your bet. It's kind of gambling to a certain extent and hope that it works out. Whereby this is more of a cash flow type of way of making money. So $94,649 is net cash in my pocket in August. That's back in 2020. We look at the next month, and I make $100,863 for that month. And then I want to show you how I extract this data from the software. You'll be using the same software. You can go in, and there's a little widget to go into the database, so to speak, and it'll pull up your profits month by month. And you can see back in October of 2020, I made $6,112. And so if we go to November and plug in the dates and hit save, it'll show you I made $30,547 in November. Okay, now in the next month, let's see, that's December of 2020. How much do I make? $70,970. Again, this is net profit, spendable money in my pocket, nickels, dimes, and quarters. Yeah, it adds up. Okay, it really adds up. If we look at the next month, it's January. I make $41,283. I want to remind you, this is when COVID is just starting to raise its ugly head. But here we go. And in February, I make $161,017 in nickels and dimes and quarters. I could spend it to buy whatever, a car, a house, or whatever. In fact, I did all of that. All right. Here we go. In March, I'm $20,958. In April, only had 28 days in April, but nonetheless, I made $24,444 in April. This is something that's not hard to get used to. It's surprising sometimes. Let me show you how it went on as we just keep going. Okay. In May, I had 30 days in May. I made $49,106. Next month in June, I made $11,029. The next month in July, I made $34,000 and some change. August, I made $20,000 and change. The next month, I make September, I make $81,902. It's like, okay, we get the picture, Dan. October, I made $37,994. November, I made $44,330, and then the last month of that year, this is 2021. I make $26,108. I was making money before this. I'm continue to make money after this. It just, it has a way of continuing on. Now, I want you to know that throughout this period of time, sometimes I lost money and sometimes I made money. I want to underscore that so that you don't come in and just win money, okay? Sometimes I lost money, but I'm making more than what I'm losing. And you're seeing the end of the month results through this period of time. Okay, I want you to understand that, and we'll look at that a little bit more in detail when I show you the live bots in just a moment. Now, if you added all this up over this period of time, about a year and a half, I made $856,433. But the plan is not just these automations. That I must stress. The plan is a plan. This is a strategy, a robust and diverse way of handling a volatile asset, lots of assets. And I wrap it up into a plan that allows someone to follow along in the footsteps of myself and Tony, and now many other members, if you would like. I also show you other ways to amplify your money in crypto. And in fact, I took this 856,000 and rolled that into almost $1.5 million through various hodling strategies, also things that I will show you. In fact, the plan, if it is anything, it is a way to do crypto safer than other ways. There's always risk, but I feel personally that this is safer than other ways of doing crypto. All right. So safety is important. I never wanted to be back where I was in 2017 and 2018. It focuses on diversity. We talk a lot about that. It also teaches strategy, even more strategies than just the automation strategies. And these are strategies that change as the market changes. In fact, we're at this point in time, you'll see in a moment, where you're going to be able to use one of the most powerful formulas that is in our arsenal right at this point in time in our market. I also teach hodling. A lot of people know that. You may be already hodling some crypto right now. Hodl just merely means to hold. It's a misspelling of the word hold. And that means you buy some crypto and you hold it. But you know what's wrong with hodl? I mean, it's like there's a lot of things that are good about it, but there's one thing that's wrong about it. If you ever ask somebody, or let me rephrase this. Have you ever had somebody tell you that, oh, I bought some crypto back, several years ago, and now it's worth 3 times as much. And you say, that's great. Let's go grab some lunch and talk about it. And they say, well, I would, but I don't have any money. You see, you remain broke while you hodl, because hodl means you put your money in and you wait for a year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or whatever. You wait a long time and you don't make any money during that period of time. Okay. But with the way we're doing it, we're first creating cash flow, revenue, because I felt that, hey, there's nothing wrong with hodling, but you don't want to be broke while you wait. Okay, so we're doing all of this a little different than what you generally see out there in some of the videos and articles that you read. Most important is planning for the future. Here's the reality. The blockchain is the future. The blockchain is already the foundation of many things that we are already enjoying. If you're doing MasterCard and Visa, that's already being settled in ledgers, and those little chips that are on your card now, it's not the old magnetic strips. Now it's going on the blockchain. There's so many things now that are on the blockchain, and you're not even aware of it. Your future is the blockchain. It would almost be back, think back, when we used to have the old vinyl records and stuff, and then along came something better. First it was the CDs and now digital music. That's really where crypto, is. The old way of doing money, the traditional thing of sticking in the bank and making 0.5% a year. That's an old vinyl record way of dealing with money. We're now in a completely new world. It is the blockchain. And here's your choice. You can wait and just kind of, flow along with the masses and you'll end up in a blockchain world, or you can take one step forward, learn how this works. I'll show you, my team will show you, we'll make it simple and as safe as we can. And you can enter into that blockchain world sooner, therefore benefiting now in some ways that are mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. Don't believe and try to gauge your life based on reading news headlines and listening to rumors and gossips on social media, or even friends, who have good intent or relatives, but just don't know what they're talking about. Okay. It's best if you want to learn how to do anything in life, you find somebody that's already done it well, and learn from them. And that's what I'm offering. I've done this. I've done it well. I'm there. And I'm sharing it with people. And I'm very happy to share it with you guys. The last thing you want to be is the man with no plan or the woman with no plan. That's not a good idea. Now let's talk about Bitcoin a little bit. I know this may be redundant for some people, but where is all of this crypto going? I mean, where are we now? Where did it start? Where will it be, in a year or 2 or 3 from now? Let's kind of get a lay of the land. because I'm going to show you a predictive model here called the stock to flow model. And this has been extremely accurate over the last decade at predicting the value of crypto, Bitcoin in particular. But whatever Bitcoin does, the rest of the market, there are tens of thousands of coins and tokens in the crypto space. Whatever Bitcoin does, generally the rest of the crypto space kind of follows along on its coattails. So if we can, in our mind, come to an understanding of the possibilities of what Bitcoin may do in the future, then it will help to understand how your future may play into this. Now, everything I'm going to show you is a predictive model. There's no guarantee. How many times are you going to hear me say that? Okay, but there's no guarantee. But based on a decade of data and experience, at least this allows us to give an educated guess as to the value of Bitcoin in the future. So let's take a look at it. This is it. Looks like a kid grabbed a brown Crayola and just drew a wiggly line going straight up, right? What's interesting about it, though, is ever so often you see an increase in this this chart line that almost looks like it's contrived or maybe built in. I mean, it's just like every 4 years, the darn thing goes up. How could that be? Well, there is something built into Bitcoin that a lot of people don't know about, and it is called the Bitcoin halving. That's well, here, I'll spell it on the screen, Halving. Now, this is something that's built into the code of crypto. Now, keep in mind that crypto and Bitcoin, as we talk about it now, is just code. All right. It's not controlled by a government. It's not controlled by a company. It is autonomous. It's all over. It can't be stopped. It is what it is. It's almost like gold in a sense. It is what it is. Okay. But there's no external control of this thing. The code does what it's going to do, and it is programmed roughly every 4 years to go through something called a halving, which reduces the number of Bitcoin in circulation, therefore increases the demand for Bitcoin. And in the past, it has always spawned a parabolic bull run right around the time we have a halving. So let's go back and let's look at what has happened, because if we can see what happened every other time there was a halving, then we can project what maybe happen the next time you get to experience a halving, and it's coming up really, really soon. So let's go back in time. So we're back in 2010. Bitcoin is brand new. In fact, the very first transaction that's known of was a guy goes in and buys 2 pizzas for 10,000 BTC. This is the beginning of something really big. Of course, they didn't know it back then. Hey, Siri, what is 10,000 BTC worth today? Let's see if we can find out.
10,000 Bitcoins is
$190 million. If you couldn't hear it, Siri looked it up and told me that $190 million is how much those 2 pizzas cost. It's almost funny, right? All right. But we're not here to talk pizzas, but that was the beginning. Now, let's look what happened. Bitcoin started from being worth virtually nothing. And this stock to flow model, which was created way back then to predict what was going to happen, you can see that the price kind of wrapped its way around this brown indicator line. In other words, the indicator line looks like it's working. It's predicting where Bitcoin will go. And right about the time that we had the halving right here, you can see that Bitcoin went up and it peaked at a little over $1,000 at that point in time. This was just an incredible increase in value. Now, I wasn't involved at that time. You likely weren't, but there were a lot of people that were, and they just thought this was like unbelievable to be up worth 1,000. Okay, now I remind you right now, Bitcoin's been teetering between 19 and 20,000 for the last several weeks. But let's look what happened. We have another Bitcoin halving that's coming, and hey, how could this predictive line know that this was going to happen? Well, again, there's this Bitcoin halving. It occurred right here. And then look what happened. Bitcoin went on up and it hit right there. Now, this is the halving that I stumbled into. When Tony called me and told me to buy some Bitcoin, it was already right in this area, right in here. And I paid around $7,000 or $8,000. Now, I didn't know anything about halvings back then, and I don't think Tony did either. We just thought it was Bitcoin. We bought some. That was the end of our expertise. But we had stumbled into a parabolic bull run that had been triggered around the halving, and we jumped in right about the middle of it, and it just kept going up and up and up and up, and it peaked at about 20,000. Okay. Then we went into the crypto winter. Now, the crypto winter is when I developed the plan. I lost all my money right here as it came down, and then I began to work on this plan. And you'll be able to see it here. The crypto winter is right here. That's it. It looks like nothing on the chart, but my gosh, it just seemed like doom and gloom back there. Every news article you would read was negative, and here I am trying to make nickels, dimes, and quarters. That was really it. So we had another halving here. Now this halving looks a little less dramatic than the others, but nonetheless, it kicked off right here, and this is a significant increase, moving up from a sub 10,000, up to $60,000. Okay, that's a huge move, and you can make a lot of money to move like that. Now it didn't go way up above the line like it did here, but I think part of that was because of we had a pandemic, we've got the wars, it's just a lot of stuff going on. All right. And so nonetheless, it went up quite a lot. Now, here's where we're at right now. Now, I want you to think about something, but just like when I said, when you learned to ride a bicycle, you didn't go back and read stories about people, 10 years ago that, were riding bicycles, and maybe some of them crashing and some of them not. But yeah, same thing here. All of this is interesting. But the thing that's most interesting is the future. And so where you want to focus your attention is on the next halving. If you can figure out how to get your ducks in a row right here and be ready for the next halving, there's no guarantee of wealth. It just doesn't exist. But if there was one, I would say that's it. I've had my opportunity to ride two of these things. Okay. The first one was kind of a mistake, didn't know what I was doing. The second one, I did know what I was doing, and hallelujah. And now we're going to have another one coming up, and you could be prepared for it. In other words, I can help to share with you what Tony and I and the team and other people did during this period of time so that you're ready for this one. And then if you ever had a shot at building true wealth, this could be it. It could be it. So that's what we're going to focus on. So if you had been around and aware and put a little money back here, you would have gotten on the crypto bus, and you would have invested smart money when it was in that dip right before the halving, and you would have rode up in your bus to the top. Okay. Well, you got another chance to do it back in 2019, 2020. You could have put smart money in there, rode the bus up. I did. But where are we right now? We're right here. And I got to ask some questions. 3 questions. Do you think it would have been smart, and would you have put money in at this point in time? Knowing what you know right now, would you put money in right here, this here? I bet you would. What if you were back in time right here? Would you have put money there? I bet you would. It's an easy decision when you look back and you see what's happening, but understanding how this works and how the Bitcoin halving plays into parabolic bull runs and the likelihood of what's coming in the future based on what we've seen in the past, the question is you are here today. It's like you're getting a second chance. Would you put smart money in? Now here you can see there's a kind of a funny looking line here. This is a measurement of they call it an epoch of the period of time of the halvings. And you can see right here is the halfway point. The halvings occur roughly every 4 years. We're a little bit beyond the half point. We're a little over 2 years, and we're right here. But so that means it's less than 2 years, and this thing is going to kick off. That doesn't mean that boom, it kicks off and you're rich the next day. But it begins to move in a positive direction for a good period of time. Sometimes it can last months or years. And that's what's in your future if this thing plays out like it has in the past. There's this other indicator, which I'll touch upon just briefly because it indicates something else. This is called the rainbow price chart indicator. And this has been studied and used for decades as well. But what it tells you is how good of a value is Bitcoin or crypto at any point in time. If it's in the blue zone, it's quite a buy. If it's in the red zone, it's oversold and you're probably jumping in too late. And it's not a good, in other words, you wouldn't want to buy right here in the red zone because it's starting to go down. You wouldn't want to buy up at the top. But where are we today? Fire sale. It's a fire sale going on right now in the crypto market. I don't care what the news is saying. I don't care what my relatives are saying or social media. We're having a fire sale in crypto right now. And I know that in less than a year, less than 2 years, there's going to be a Bitcoin halving. And I know what's happened every other time. I mean, what a great time to be in crypto, especially if someone is willing to help me. Someone's willing to hold my hand and show me not only how to get into crypto, but how to make cash flow minute after minute after minute after minute after minute while I wait for the next Bitcoin halving. Just like Thanksgiving dinner. I got everything here on the table, okay? And you can come and join me. Why not? So, are you in the right place at the right time? Yeah, you are. Bitcoin is more scarce than gold. We'll be mining gold off of asteroids and there's, out of the sea and what have you. So gold is not as scarce as you may think. Whereas Bitcoin, there are 21 million Bitcoin. Much of it has been lost but there's only 21 million and that's all there ever will be. When I say lost, there are some people that they had it in their computer and they threw their computer away and lost their passwords and all of that. And so it gets lost. Okay. But there will never be more than 21 million ever. And there are already in this world 60,000 millionaires as a result of Bitcoin. Hello? Okay. Hello. Bitcoin has been the best performing asset for the past decade, not by a little bit, but by over 1,000%. So want to make money in real estate? Fine, but Bitcoin's better. Want to make money in stocks? Fine, but Bitcoin's better. Want to make money, I don't know, buying rare gems and coins and stuff? I mean, fine, but Bitcoin's better. That's the data. So it's a good place to be. Now, I know what you want to know, so I'm going to show you that next. And you're going to laugh because this is almost so simple, you'll wonder why you didn't figure it out yourself. That's okay. I'm going to show you. How do I make money minute after minute off of a market that robs 95% of everything they have? Okay, here's how I do it. I think like a spider. In fact, I want you to, for a moment, to pretend you're a spider. Let's have some fun. And if you were a spider and you wanted to catch some kind of wiggling bug or a fly or what have you, what would you do? You'd build a web. That's what spiders do. And they work, right? That's why they keep building them. So that's what I do in the crypto space. I don't know, price is wiggling. It's the volatility. I don't know whether it's going to go up or down or whatever. It's just all over the place. So rather than me trying to predict where the fly is going to go next, I just cast a web and I'm going to catch that darn fly no matter where it goes. That's it. That's the idea. So I build this thing. It's called a grid. It's like a spider web. And there's a top of the grid, and there's a bottom of the grid. And in this example, this illustration, it only has 8 web lines, okay? There's only 8. But in the real world, there's going to be hundreds of these things, and it's going to cover a massive range in the marketplace. We're setting up this grid in order to catch that price as it wiggles by, and it can't escape. And as it does, it will buy and sell and buy and sell and buy and sell, and it will make us this vending machine like money. Now, the red lines in the grid are open sell orders, meaning that if price trips across one of your sell orders, it will sell a little bit of your crypto and you'll make a profit. If price trips across one of your green lines, it will buy a little bit of crypto so that you'll have something to sell a few minutes later. Now, you don't have to worry about what is a sell order and what's a buy order and whether something's red or green and all of that. The automation does it for you. But that's pretty much our trap. This is our spider web. Now, we sit back and we wait. And as price comes wiggling along, if it hits a green line, it'll buy just a little bit of crypto, maybe $25 worth. Okay? Not a lot. And now you own $25 worth of this crypto. Then if price wiggles up and it hits a red line, it will sell a little bit of crypto and it'll make you some money, maybe a quarter. And then if price wiggles on down, it'll buy a little bit. This is like, I feel like I'm teaching grade school when I show this. And that's why it's so fun and why it's so simple. And it's also why it works. Now, if price wiggles down even further, it will buy more. It's buying using something that almost all financial advisors think is a good idea. It's called DCA, dollar cost average. As prices drop, if you buy a little bit along the way, you end up with the best average value, dollar cost average. And so that's what this thing does. It buys a little bit along the way as it goes down to give you the best buy value. And then it's smart enough to know that it's going to probably wiggle back up, which is what crypto does, up and down all day, every minute. It will turn your green line into a red sell line so that it's ready in the event that it wiggles up. And lo and behold, when it wiggles up, it will hit your red line, it will sell it, and you'll make a little bit more pocket change. In this example, can you believe it? We've made 50 cents in about a minute. Just me explaining, 50 cents. Now, don't worry about exchange fees. The exchange fees are already taken out. I'm showing you net, net, net. I mean, in reality, it would have been that you made 30 cents, 5 cents goes to pay the exchange, and you end up with a net of 25. All of the numbers that I show you, all I've shown you thus far, all I'm showing you now, everything I'm going to show you in the future, these are net numbers of money in your pocket. It is spendable money. Now, I remind you, this just keeps going. You know, like a spider web. Just because a spider catches one fly doesn't mean that he shuts down the whole spider web and goes home. No, he's got his fly, but the spider web is still there, ready to catch more. That's the way this works. It just stays there. The grid stays there and it keeps catching the wiggle, and it's shaking out the nickels and the dimes and the quarters minute by minute by minute by minute. And Dan is sitting on the back porch playing his guitar. Now, do you have to know how to play a guitar in order to do this? The answer is no. I'm sure a lot of you were wondering. This is a grid here. This is a real one. This grid is so massive that even if you have a crash, a huge drop, often your price stays within the grid range. The range here can be 50%, 100%, 150%, huge ranges covered here. The number of lines that we're looking at could be anywhere from 100 up to, I don't know, 140 or so. A lot of lines. The red lines are the sell lines. The green lines are the buy lines. We set up the trap and we just let the price wiggle through it. When you have a crash, and like right here, you can see that the price went down. By the way, the red dots are sells, and the buy dots are when you buy a little bit. And there's probably 3,000 dots here on this screen. There's so many that they're stacked on top of each other. And it creates this thing that looks like a sea serpent. But anyway, right here, you can see that the price just fell off a cliff, right? This price drop here, that's probably a 30% price drop. Huge. It's so huge that CNN would be flashing news lines. Crypto's going to hell, and everybody in it is too. That's what you would be hearing. Social media would be just, it'd be all over the place. The crypto market just crashed. People are jumping out of buildings and, life savings are gone and all that. And what are we doing here at the plan? We know that, yes, it drops, but it wiggles and wiggles and wiggles minute after minute after minute after minute as it drops. This drop may have taken, a whole day or 2 days before it actually realized itself, but it doesn't just go straight down like a, I don't know, submarine or whatever. It just wiggles. And sometimes you can make so much money off of the wiggle as it goes down that sometimes it's greater than the value of the drop. I'll show you this later in some examples. But here's kind of the best news is the fact that comparatively, if you compare this approach to what most people do, it allows you to always lose less if you lose than somebody doing the same exact trades with the same coin pairs. And here's why. If somebody buys something at $10 and it drops to $5, they've lost half their money, right? But if I do this and jump in at $10 and it drops to 5, what if I made $3 off of the wiggle as it dropped? Then I would have only lost 2. So this is a safety mechanism. Now, the other thing is, and this doesn't happen all the time, but it happens more often than you would think. Sometimes it could drop from 10 to 5, and I'm just using these numbers because they're easy to do the math, but it drops 10 down to 5, and everybody else lost $5. Sometimes the wiggle made $6. And that means the thing dropped and everybody lost 5, and I'm up $1 because I made so much in the wiggle. So all of these possibilities are there, but I will say that in general, you are in a safer trading mode using this than any other method that I know of. And I've tried everything else that's out there. That's some scary, scary stuff. On the left here, you'll see a vending machine. It's a spiral gumball machine. I used to own 40 of these things, and I'll be quick, but I share this because what I'm doing now with the crypto reminds me of the old vending machine business. I had these things set up in car washes and movie theaters and hotels and restaurants all around my hometown. This was decades ago. And it was great because the kids would come in, hey, Mom, give me a quarter. They throw the quarter in, the ball spirals down the bottom, and hey, I've made a quarter, right? Well, not quite, because I had to split it with the owner of the business, and I would end up with about half of it. But nonetheless, that was good enough. I made a little bit of money there, and I would go around every week or two and put more gum in, clean it up, take out the coins, give part of it to the owner, and I'd go home, and my wife and daughter and we'd sit at the kitchen table, and we would roll quarters and have popcorn and have some beer and, just enjoyed life. And that was great. It was great. This is better though, because number one, I don't have to put bubble gum in there. I don't have to share the money with anybody else. It's net in my pocket. Okay. I don't have to fight off ants. I used to get ants in these bubblegum machines. I didn't know ants like bubblegum, but boy, do they. I mean, it was just a lot of problems and a lot of hassle. It was a good business, but this is better. This is like a virtual vending machine that you turn it on, you enjoy life, and you check in on it every once in a while, and you can run as many of these as you like. Most people run somewhere between 5 to 20, and you'll be able to do that. First in demo mode with play money, and then later, once you know what you're doing, you can run it with real money. So let me show you the money, right? Let me show you some demo accounts that are running right now. They are live in exchanges, and you're going to have access to do this yourself. In fact, I'm going to teach you how to do this in demo mode, so there's zero risk while you're learning. And I'm going to show you what that's like. I need to pop over to my web browser. Okay. Now I'm going to hide the address up here because I'm going to try to protect you from doing something a lot of stupid people do. A lot of people, think that it's just the software. Okay. Well, it's not just the software, okay? Let me see here. And so listen to me closely because you'll lose money if you don't. A lot of people figure out, the software I use, because the software is not something I created. I went out and tested software all around the market, okay, and found software. Now, the software for me lost me money for about the first 5 or 6 months. It's because you needed to know how to work it and the formulas to go in for it to work. But here's the best way I can explain this. If you wanted to write a best-selling book, and Stephen King, the famous author, if he was willing to teach you, it'd probably be a good idea to listen to him and learn what he did to become a best-selling author, right? Now, if by chance you found out what software he was using, do you think that you could then go buy Microsoft Word and just boot it up and you say, I don't need Stephen King, I've got the software. All I got to do is just boot this up and boom, I'm going to have a best-selling book. You see how stupid it is? The software is not the solution. It's the formulas and the know-how that is the solution. So hopefully you heard me, because many people don't listen and make that mistake. This is our current market. This is Bitcoin right now. Each of these candles that you see represents 1 day of price action. You don't have to know how to read candles and charts and everything. But the only thing I want to point out is this. Bitcoin, a while back, the last peak was up around 60,000 or so. And it's been basically going down pretty significantly over a number of months. Now, we were teaching the plan throughout a good bit of this. Which just goes to show how resilient the program can be. But here's where we're at right now. And you can see that for the last, several months, it's been basically in what's called a sideways market. Now, nobody can predict the bottom, but I would tend to say that we are near the bottom, if not at the bottom. And so it looks rosy that there's a lot of upside potential in the market right now. Now, there is a special formula that we use at this period of time, and it's something called a bottom feeder. We're doing a bottom feeder bot formula that allows us to feed or make wiggle off of the market when it's near the bottom. It covers our butt, though, because it reaches down a significant level below even where we're at right now, so that if it does go down further, hey, that's okay. We're covered. It's a bottom feeder bot. This is a rare opportunity in the marketplace. I already showed you we're in the fire sale and we're halfway through toward the Bitcoin halving and all of that. But I just wanted you to see this. Most traders hate sideways markets. It's hard to make money in a sideways market. But guess what? Sideways markets are the juiciest of the markets for the way I make money with this style of trading. So the sideways market's a beautiful thing. Everybody can make money if the market's going up. And if it starts to wiggle its way up, then great, we'll be making money there. But we're even covered if it goes down. So we're just at this unique point in time. Darn, if you are not lucky to be here today. It's just a good thing. Now, so let's take a look at some examples. Okay, I got to show you this first, though. I talked about it a lot. Let me get my mouse back working. Here we go. This is the Bitcoin halving countdown clock. You can look these things up on the web, and they're kind of fascinating. But the main thing is you can see that we have 598 days. What are you going to be doing in 598 days? Mark it on your calendar, okay? What are you going to be doing? Will you have your ducks in a row ready for something that could change your financial future in a significant way? Will you? I don't know. It's up to you. But 598 days is basically an estimate of about when we will be at the next Bitcoin halving. And then if the past is predictive of the future, then we should start to see a good, strong bull run. That's what I'm hoping will happen. So this is a nice Bitcoin halving clock. So now let's take a look at the software here. This is a live automation. This is a live bot. And I know there's lots of numbers and stuff going on here, but let me just real quickly point out a few things so you can kind of understand what you're looking at. If you decide to come on board, we show you every little nitty-gritty detail. It's not scary, even though you see a lot of numbers here. It's got, you know what it's like? You remember the first time you got in a car and you had all those knobs and speedometers and gauges and whatever? The only one I understood was the gas tank, and I knew mine was almost always empty. Everything else, I don't know. Oh, the radio, I was good at the radio too. But this is kind of like that. Eventually you just jump in there and you feel like it's, no big deal. Each one of these lines here is a bot. So this is a bot that is making money off of the coin pair, FX and USDT. By the way, don't go out and try to do any of these coin pairs. These are demos and they have special formulas. But nonetheless, this coin pair is one automation. Here's another automation. Here's another automation. And there's a whole bunch of them here. I think there's probably 18, 19, 20 of them. How many do we have? Yeah, 20. There's 20 automations that are running right now. Okay, now, this first one here, okay, has made a bot profit of 5.25%. And it's been running for 20 days and 6 hours. See it right here, 20 days and 6 hours. Now, the 449, that's how many dots are on the screen. Those are the transaction counts. In other words, this bot has done 449 trades. Now you know why you and I can't do this. You can't do 449 trades. I mean, look, this one's 1,000 trades and 600 trades and 1,300 trades. I mean, there's just, thousands of trades going on. So an automation is the best way to do it. Okay, but it's been running 20 days or so, and it has made $251 in nickels, dimes, and quarters. And that money, this is a demo, but that money, if it were real, would be cash in our pocket. We could spend it right now. Now, the thing just keeps wiggling. In other words, it keeps making you the money. Now, this column here, the total P&L column, tells another data point. This one tells you what would be your net outcome if you close the bot. right now. It's like the spider. He's got his web up. He's caught one fly. If he closed his web down right then, he'd just have one fly. He doesn't close it down though, right? All right, he leaves it up because there's probably going to be some more bugs and flies that'll come by during the night. All right, that's what we do. We leave this up because we continue to catch the price as it wiggles by. In fact, these things run for a long time. You can see this one's been running for 20 days. This one's been running for a month and 6 days. If we scrolling down, this one's been running at 3 months and 9 days. This one down here has been running for 4 months and 7 days. I mean, these things have been running a long time. Can you imagine something running for 4 months and 7 days with you doing nothing, zero, and it kicks out $414 for you, a 27% return? It's just absolutely amazing, okay? If you were to shut it down, this would be your net. But we don't shut them down when they're red. In most cases, we don't do that. We just let it keep going because we know that they will turn green. Here's a little secret. In order to make money, you have to first have red. The reason is because you have to buy low when it's red so that you can sell high. You ever heard the old saying, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high? That's what this does. The software can only do one thing, buy low and sell high. Remember the little wiggle chart I showed you? It buys on the green line and it wiggles up and it sells high. It can't do anything else. So this column here, bot profit, is always positive because the bot itself can't do anything but make a profit. But hear me out. The value of the coin that you have in the bot can fluctuate in its valuation. So therefore, there are times when the value could be down because the market is down and times when it's up. But sometimes the wiggle is so much that it buffers the value, as we talked about earlier. Here's an analogy that'll help you understand. Let's say you have a rental property and you've got a tenant in that property and they're paying you rent. You're a happy camper, right? Every month you get the rent. Now you call your realtor up and you say, how much is my house worth? And she says, I got to tell you, your house is worth $1,000 less than when you bought it. And you're going, oh, okay, no big deal. Why? Because you're not selling it. You're collecting the rent. And you know that probably the next month or the next month, the value will go up. Real estate goes up and down. You don't stop the rent coming in just because the value of the house is changing. That's what's going on here. The value of the assets will change over time. Sometimes they'll be red, sometimes they'll be green. So that's what you have here. And when you close it down, the goal is to close it at a point when it is green. Now you may be thinking, well, Dan, this one's green. And if I were to close it down, I would walk away with a net of a 39% return over this 4 month and 7 day period. Why don't you close it down? Here's why you don't close it down. It's like a vending machine. I've got my vending machine in the restaurant. It's making money. I'm green, 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 green. Do I close it down because I'm making profits? No, because if I close it down, I take the gum machine, I put it in my garage, and nobody buys any gum in my garage. Okay? Can't get my wife out there, can't get my dog out. Nobody's going to buy gum in my garage, right? In other words, you don't shut the golden goose down. You leave it in the restaurant so that it can keep making money. So that's it. It's like if I were to shut this down, 2 minutes after I shut it down, I'd be setting it back up because it's making money. So that's why you just set these things up and you let it go. Now, in the course, I show you certain reasons why you might, shut one down. I mean, I'll give you a hint right now. If you find something that's wiggling more, making more money, maybe you shut one down and move it over to the other. Okay? A spider web, if he's not getting a lot of bugs by one light bulb, he'll move over to another light bulb where it's brighter and there's more bugs, right? In other words, you can sometimes move it to a new spot. That's what we do sometimes. That's it. So you got to think like a spider, but mostly do nothing. But there's still one more step. And that is you got to start. If you don't start, this ain't going to happen. I will tell you that up here, just so we'll kind of close it out up here. You can see that over all of these automations here, there is a total investment that's been, made, $27,000. Okay, and the net profit is 22%. over all of these various periods of time, meaning that over a period of time that is less than 4 months, because some of them are 3 months, some of them are 2 months, some of them less than a month, there is a profit of 22% or $7,453, and the money is already in our pocket. Okay, if I were to shut everything down right now, I would walk away having already earned $7,453. That's why I say that there will be some where you could technically say, this one's underwater. I've lost money. But I'm making so much off of others that if I were to just shut everything down, I would be up 7,453. This is a market that if you understand it, and it's hard to figure this stuff out, but if somebody shows you, takes you by the hand, lets you do it in demo mode, totally safe, and then suddenly it starts to click and you're thinking, hey, I can do this. It takes 10 minutes to set it up. I click the button and then I go out and sit on my rocking chair, whatever, take a vacation, do whatever you want. That's it. So let's talk about how we could possibly get started. Okay, where are we? Here we go. How to get started. How to wiggle your way to wealth. If you're going to do this, one thing that's important is you have to know how to pick the coins, right? And you're thinking, gosh, that's probably the part that's going to trip me up. Well, I will show you how to do that in the training program, and it doesn't take long, but we just released something that's very special. And I'm going to ask Jason to come in and share with you something that you're going to get when you come on board. I'm going to take a little tea break here, and Jason will share with you, and I'll be right back. Jason.
Thanks, Dan. We have tens of thousands of customers on the plan in 131 countries. And the number one thing we see when they first come in, what they want more than anything, what they ask, nay, should I say demand, more than all else, is they say, hey, listen, can you just do the research for us? Could you apply the same methodology that you teach in the plan and just show us, hey, here's a coin pair, here's how you would set it up, copy paste this, copy and paste this, and push go. And of course, you run these in demo mode. So you do this with fake money at first, and you can just plug in, you play them in. And at first we were resistant to the idea because we don't want to just give you the fish. We want to teach you to fish. But we also realize that some people, while they're waiting to catch a fish, they might starve to death. And so we want to get you on your feet, get you up and going. We basically want to make you as comfortable as possible and remove as much of the risk as possible when you get started with the plan. So this bonus right here, you're going to get dozens of settings of automations per month over the next 3 months for free. This is a service that we charge $300 a month for. So after 3 months, if you want to continue using this service, you'll have to write to us as support, and you'll have to inquire to us how you can become a paying member, and then you will have to pay $300 a month. Until then, though, you get this completely for free. And I'm going to tell you, most people after 3 months don't need this anymore. Just like most people who start riding a bike with training wheels don't continue to ride the bike with training wheels. So this is an exclusive bonus. What I mean by that is when Dan gives you the link here shortly to go sign up for the plan in the very limited time it's available, you will not see mention of this bonus on the page. That's how exclusive and how special it is. It's an extra special bonus you get because you have come here and you've watched this webinar with us today. So you're going to learn exactly not only how to do the system, we have a research team that does the system as well alongside of you and publishes the coins and says, listen, if this price is between this and this, here's the settings, copy and paste, and you're on your way. You can set up as many automations as you can stand, as many as we publish. So Dan, that's the high level version of it. Back to you.
Thanks so much. So you're thinking, okay, I got it, Dan. Okay, all I got to do is think like a spider, get on a bicycle, and learn how to fish. We're using a lot of analogies here. They are kind of funny, but we're trying to stress how simple this can be. This here does simplify things quite a bit. In fact, we give you all the information. We've already researched and back tested these coin pairs. I have a team that does that. And we just hand them to you. They work across multiple exchanges. The software works, probably with any major exchange that's in the country where you're at. And Jason mentioned it earlier. We are in over 120 countries, maybe 130 by now. I mean, we are all over the place, and we have tens of thousands of people who have done this. So this works everywhere. Everything is copy paste ready. When it comes to these settings, you just take what we give you, we paste it in to the settings, click the start button, and you're off to the races. You'll do it in demo mode in the beginning. And once you see how it's working, then you can make your own decision if you would like to invest your real capital. Right now, we are at a point in time in the market where the bottom feeder settings are the best. So that's what we're going to give you. And you'll be able to feed off of the bottom as we wait for the next Bitcoin halving. So that's where we're at. If you would like to start, I'm going to give you the link in a moment, but there's one more thing that we're going to give you. There's a book that I wrote along with my team, and it's called One Coin, Two Coin, What Coin, Bitcoin. And this is a best-selling book over on Amazon, but don't buy it. We're going to give it to you for free. The neat thing about this book is it makes crypto very, very simple, kind of like child's play. It's written for adults, but it will make it so that you can get going. This is a prequel to the plan. This will help you to move your capital from wherever you have it now into crypto land, from your bank into the crypto land, from your mattress into crypto land. That's what this is. It's over 100 pages. It explains things really, really step by step. And the people who wrote it, you already know most of them. It's me, Elaine, and Daniel. It's me and my first two students. And we are here to help you through the book, and we are here to help you personally, should you want that once you come on board. How much? $3,497. That's for everything. This will give you the education in crypto land that is just not available anyplace else. You can break it into 4 payments if you would like. It would be $997. And then you are a member of the plan, okay? We have so many things to help support our members. We have weekly fly on the wall sessions where Tony and I get together, and you get to be a part of that like a fly on the wall, and kind of hear as Tony and I talk about what's going on in the market and with our automations and things of the nature. We have a kind of a television program that we put on, which is called The Planet, where all of the team members contribute various points of help so that you can understand, what to do. On a day-by-day basis. And we have one heck of a lot of fun. We have superlative support 24/7. I told you before, but if you send a ticket in, not only will somebody read it right away, they will respond with an intelligent, helpful answer within an hour or two. If it's a complex answer, it'll roll up to our tier 2 support. It may take a little longer, and we'll have one of our experts answer that. Sometimes it comes to me. I probably answer a dozen or so tickets every single day from people who have, more advanced questions. So you're going to have a friend in crypto land that will give you an honest and fair shake on what's going on so that you can feel comfortable moving forward. Safety is important, okay? Trust is big, and crypto land is kind of like this wild, wild west where you need to have that safety net. You need to have some friends that are going to tell you like it is, and that's what it is. This is for beginners and pros. If you're a beginner, you're in luck because you have a blank slate in your mind when it comes to crypto, and we will show you how we're doing this, and you're good. If you are a pro or somebody that's been out there, watching videos and trying to learn and study this and set up things, what we will try to do is to help you unlearn some of that stuff. I mean, it's not that other stuff isn't good. It's just that it doesn't really apply to the way we're doing it. What I ask is that if you are a professional or a pro, or you've been doing this for a while, set some of that knowledge aside a little bit and just give me a blank slate and try it the way we're doing it. And then over some time, you'll probably be able to bring in some of that other knowledge, and it will perhaps help you even further. So we're both beginners and pros. I'll teach you my famous do nothing strategy. Everybody loves it. Everybody has a hard time doing it. I don't know. We just keep wanting to fiddle with stuff. But do nothing is the best thing. And again, I will show you our bottom feeder strategy. Now, one note, it's not on any of the slides here, and it is extra if you want it, but we do also have private one-on-one personal help for people that feel that they need even more than what's offered in this course. The majority of people have no problem just going through the course with all the help that we have. But I do want you to know there is another level of help. It's an extra fee for that. but it is there if you feel that you need it, okay? There are also some people who are more advanced and they feel that they need advanced strategies. We can cover you. Now, all of the money that you put into crypto and that you work through the strategies taught in the plan is always in your control. 100% of your money will stay in your exchange all the time. And you can stop this, pause this, you can do whatever you want. A lot of people, what they do is they rev it up, okay? And that's fine as well, but you are in the driver's seat. I don't have access to your money. No one on our team or the software or anything has access to your money, all right? It's all in your control. You do not have to learn how to trade. I'm not going to teach trading skills. It takes very little time to do this once you learn, but I want you to pay attention in the beginning and just make sure I go a little deeper than I need to because I understand sometimes people want to know not only how to drive a car, but they want to know how the engine works. And I'll just show you everything. And then you can decide, how deep you want to go. But I mean, it doesn't take a lot, okay? It takes a small amount of time to enter in this information and begin making money off the wiggle. The software is not something I created. This is software that's from a third party, and the price is a little less than $69 to run up to 5 bots, and I think it's around 150 or a little less to run up to 20 automations. You only need 5 in the beginning, and you're going to be running it with play money in the beginning anyway. That's all you need. Prices might change. It's a third party, but that's roughly where we're at right now. This does require that you start in demo mode. And the word that's important in that sentence is require. We require you learn this in demo mode because we want you to play it safe. Everything we do is going to be safety first. And we want you to know how to ride the bicycle before you take training wheels off. And once you are comfortable and you've seen that you can make money with play money, then you can put in your own money in time. This slide here could be the most important because it's the first few golden bricks in what may be your yellow brick road. These are the steps you need to go through now or in the next few hours in order to become a member of the plan. I would suggest that when I get to the end, number 9, that you print this so that you're certain of what you need to do in the next few hours, the next few days. First, you'll join the course. When you do that, you'll pay your fee. We will send you our agreement. There's actually 2 parts to it. There's a user agreement and there's also an NDA. The NDA is a non-disclosure. You'll read through all of this. If it's okay, you sign it, you send it back in, and we will lock you into a seat. I don't mean that in a bad way, but let's put it another way. We will reserve you a spot as a student. That's what I should say. And you remember, now, if you don't like what's in our agreement or you change your mind in that early stage, then we'll just send you your money back. No problem. But once you have signed, once you come on board and you've got your seat, there are no refunds after that. Now, you're a member. You go to the member area. You're going to love our member area. It's robust and it's exciting and it really is built to help you learn, no matter what style of learning you prefer. You'll go straight to our getting started guide. You'll use the guide along with the book, the 1 Coin, 2 Coin, What Coin, Bitcoin book to help you get started, to set up an exchange, to onboard some of your investment capital, and just start getting ready for when you actually do the plan. You're going to use the link that is in the member area, the link that is in the guide in order to get the software to make sure you get the correct software. And then you'll hook it up. We'll give you the instructions, but you'll copy paste 2 little things and that'll connect the API between the software and your exchange. Now, again, the software just manages your trades. It does not and cannot touch your money. You're going to watch the recordings in the member area. They are they're set up in modules, and we have step-by-step instructions and illustrations. It really is robust, so that this will be as simple for you to learn as is possible. If you ever have a question, we are definitely there. We're very proud of our support. You're going to set your initial bots up within days. Okay. You'll use the coin pair research coin pairs that Jason talked about in our service that we will provide. We're going to also teach you how to research and find these tokens on your own. I like to do that, and many of our members like to do their own research because it's kind of fun. It takes 20 minutes. It allows you to learn a little bit about the coins you're involved in. And, the neat thing about crypto is that there's a lot of good going on. In the news, you often hear about some of the bad stuff, but there's a lot of good going on. Crypto and the blockchain is helping almost every segment of our society. It's helping doctors in medicine and all of that. It's helping artists and creative people, musicians and things of that nature. It's improving, obviously, finances and things of that. Crypto is just really, crypto and the blockchain is changing our world for the better. And the reason, the underlying reason is because it allows you to interact with code, which is fair and equal to everyone, rather than you or I interacting with a middleman or a banker or a crook or just all kinds of stuff out there. This is just you and code, and so that's really what the blockchain really means, for all of us. Next, once you're comfortable and you understand how this is working, it's time to take the training wheels off. You can then put in your first capital. Right now, it's only around $1,500 of investment capital that's required in order for a bot to have operational capital. This money, at the end, when you close the bot, if the bot is positive, then you get that back, plus you will have made your wiggle profits along the way. So you're not buying anything here with the $1,500. That's just your investment capital that's going in for the trades, the buys and sells that go along. Used to be it was $3,000. That's because as the market changes, we use different formulas. And all of the students that went through before you were using other formulas that required a little bit more capital for the bot to work optimally. However, the bottom feeder bot, it just has so many benefits. Not only are we at the bottom, which is the safest place to start at, but it requires half the capital in order for it to shake out these profits. So, hey, how lucky can you get? Fire sale halfway to the Bitcoin halving, only half the money required to do it. And I don't know. So you set your goals. This is step number 8. You're going to follow the plan. You're going to ignore skeptics and FUD. What's FUD? That's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That is planted into your mind through media and through relatives and friends. Just remember it, because if you're not successful, if you don't go into crypto, FUD probably is what got you. All right. And you just need to be aware of it and kind of inoculate yourself against that. You're much better to operate based on information and knowledge rather than FUD. You'll snowball your results, and then we're going to get to where we all want to be. Step number 9 is we do nothing. That's right. We do nothing. You can print this out, and these are the first few golden bricks on your yellow brick road. The member area, I'll just give you a quick look at it so you can get a feel for it. We have high-end video training materials. We have step-by-step guides. We have illustrations. You're seeing our team members right here. They're there for you around the clock. These people are deep into the plan. They know it inside and out, okay? And they are there to help you, along with about 40 or 50 other support people that we have. That's our member area. We're very, very proud of that. Let me break it all down, and then we're going to open it up to questions. The education, in order for you to know how to do this, how to ride the crypto bicycle, $3,497. I spent more than that on my Stromer bike, all right? And all it'll do is drive me around, okay? This can change your life. It's $3,497, or you can take the payment plan. If you take the payment plan, sometimes you can, have the wiggle that's coming in. Profits help you to cover some of those future payments. Sometimes there are people that don't have yet the $1,500 or the investment capital. They go ahead and start, and they practice in demo mode so that when they do get their investment capital ready, then they know what to do and they can jump on board. But that's the way you learn how to do this. Next, the software. The software is third-party software. It runs $69 or less in order to operate 5 bots. Later, you can operate 20 bots if you want, but you don't need that in the beginning. It'll be a while before you need that, because again, you're going to be in demo mode for a while. So $69 a month for that. And there's a little short period of time where you can have it as a trial mode. So that's the software. The software does not make you your money. What makes you your money are the formulas and the training that you learn from the plan. Okay. The software just automates things so that you can sit on your back porch and play your guitar. The investment capital has always been 3,000 until recently when we introduced the bottom feeder bot. So you're lucky there. It's only going to be maybe $1,500 per bot that you want to set up. Now in demo mode, you can set up 5 of them or 20 of them or whatever, and you're using play money. So have at it. It's great fun. But once you get to the point you're putting in your real capital, each automation will require roughly $1,500 in order to have the capital necessary to shake money out of the market. Guess what? I'm done. If it is time for a plan, if you're thinking, wow, I want to do crypto, but it sounds like I need a plan, we got it. We think that we have the best plan on the planet. We have thousands and thousands of people all around the planet who would say, yep, you do. And we're opening up the doors now temporarily for a short period of time to take on a few more students. And then we're going to close the doors and we're going to help you to do this. We don't sell this thing all the time. I'm done. I'm going to pass it over to my friend Jason, and we're going to open it up to questions.
Excellent. Well done, Dan. The plan.vip/join. Many of you I've seen have joined already. Some of you still on the fence. Here's the thing about that. We don't have much time left. When you go to the plan.vip/join, I just went there right now on my own web browser because I wanted to see what the timer says. The timer says 5 days, 8 hours, 26 minutes, and 7 seconds. And that's ticking down. If you're obviously watching this on the replay later, it's probably less than that. And this is a real timer. And when it expires, it expires. So we got to get down to brass tacks. We got to figure out, does it make sense for you to sign up? And usually that involves answering certain specific questions that you may have. So I want you to put those questions in now if you haven't already. And I have a list of questions that we've earmarked as Dan has went through the presentation. So I'm going to answer some of those first, and then we're going to loop back and we're going to have a conversation with you. And we're going to figure out, and I got some time. There's a lot of you here, so I'm sure you got some questions too. And we're going to see what decision makes sense for you, whether it's a yes decision or a no decision. So, one of the first questions I'm going to hit right out of the gate is the tax question. If you, by the way, go to the URL that you see on your screen right now, theplan.vip/join, we also have an FAQ. And in that FAQ, we really specifically answer the tax question down there on that page. But I'll answer it verbally for you here now. Obviously, depending on the country you're in, the tax codes are a little bit different in terms of the classifications. But let me just give you what to anticipate. First of all, you won't have to pay taxes immediately. Depending on where you're at, you make the money first, and then in the distant, not exactly far future, but not in the near future either, then taxes are due on that. Pretty much every economy and country on earth, if you make money, you pay taxes on it. If you don't make money, you don't pay any taxes. So before you worry about the taxes you'll have to pay on your money, you got to make your money first. Now, here's what's better about crypto related to other ways in which you have to track, what you've made and how much you've spent and what your profit is. You don't have to take shots of receipts, pictures of receipts and file them. You don't have to take hard copies of invoices and then bring them to your tax professional when it's time to file your taxes. All of this is in whatever exchanges you're using. They keep the records on all your transactions. And so all of it's digitized, just like crypto is digitized. And so it's all available to you. Now, what do you do with it? Of course, you're going to have to take it to the right professional to parse it and to be able to take it based on where your location is and apply it correctly. We do have resources that can help you make hide and hair of that inside of the plan. We don't leave anything up to chance. So we have who we feel is the best tax expert in the planet when it comes to crypto. And she actually provides some foundational information, which will then help you know which position you should take or where you should pursue. It'll help guide you in that direction. So when it comes time for the taxes, you're going to have to pay it. So I would hate for you not to do this just to avoid taxes, because then you should quit working because you're going to pay taxes on this as well. Is it a little bit cumbersome? Yeah, of course it is. Success isn't perfect. You'll spend a little bit of time on this to make sure you do it right. It's just the cost of doing business. And I hope all of you pay more taxes next year than you've ever paid in your life, because that will mean you have made more money in the last year than you've ever made in your life. I hope to give you that problem. Tifu, I'm sure that's not your real name, but Tifu, we'll just go with it nonetheless, says, most exchanges charge fees for buy and sells. I would be interested in seeing a P&L. Well, what you saw today is after the exchange has taken its fee. You're right. Every exchange on planet Earth that we're going to use with this software is going to take a fee. It's a small percentage. It is never bigger than the profit you'll make. The software will not allow it. And it's usually a fraction. So every number Dan showed you here today, whether it was in the demo accounts or from his own trading, net after exchanges have taken place, after the fees on every buy and every sell is accounted for. There's no funny business going on here. Everything is net, 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 net. Okay. Tifo also asks, does the bots close out losing trades also to limit risk? The bots don't do anything other than trade. It's on you, my friend, to decide if you want to continue to run a bot or not. Now, there's a safety net when we set these bots up that says, hey, listen, if the price goes down too far, too fast, then stop. Don't keep buying and selling. Just wait for it to, come to its senses. And then when it gets back in that spider web range that is cast, and it's a pretty big range, it's like 60, 70, 80% or more in some instances, then it will resume. So that is a safety precaution. This is the backup parachute, if you will. But the bot itself doesn't automatically close. Yes, you could put settings in there to have like these automatically close under these conditions, but that's not how the plan actually runs. The plan doesn't function from that perspective. We let these bots run. There are certain edge case, very rare conditions when you might want to adjust a bot or you might want to shut it down and start a new bot. But most of the time you'll be doing nothing. And that's the beauty of the system. Okay. William says, but how complicated is it to set it up? That I have to take a course to set it up. I love this question. Thank you for asking it, William. Setting up the bots is not complicated at all. The first time you do it, you could probably do it in 15 to 30 minutes. Once you get good at it, you could do it in 5 to 10 minutes. And that happens pretty quickly. Setting up the bot is not important. The formula that is being used to input the setup, that is of absolute importance. You can go, there's 100 or maybe not 100, but I bet you it's pretty close to 100 different crypto automation softwares that exist right now on the marketplace. You could find them very easily. There's a whole bunch of them, and you could sign up for any one of them. And every single one of them has a tutorial that would walk you through hand by hand, step by step, click by click, exactly how to set up an automation. It is laughably simple to set up an automation. But that doesn't mean that any automation that you set up is effective. In fact, because the statistics work against most of these types of crypto trading, most people that no matter what they do with their crypto, they lose money. The trick isn't the automation. The trick is the specific settings that allow that automation to occur. This is why Dan has what he calls bottom feeder bots right now. These are settings designed specifically and exactly from these market conditions. And this is based on Dan's knowledge of having done 10,000 plus automations and run millions of dollars through. And not just him, his trading partner, the team, everybody else. And so we have really good insight into the particular setup. So while the particular, like setting it up, super duper easy. What number you put where, that's what makes the difference. And that's what you're investing in, my friend. You're investing in the 10,000 plus automations that have been run, the millions of dollars that have been put through it, and of course, all the support and all the training supplemental to that. Majority of the training doesn't even talk about bots. Well, maybe it does, but a lot of the training, probably more than half of it, is everything else around crypto that you need a foundational understanding of. That's important regardless of whether you would do bots or not. It's a masterclass in crypto from A to Z done right. And it just so happens a part of it is these automations with these setups. Ramus totally love the bottom feeder bot. Yeah, man, me too. The benefit of the bottom feeder bot, I just want to prepare you for the inevitable future here. The benefit of the bottom feeder bot right now is it's only $1,500 to get an automation going. This is the minimum amount you would need to fund an automation. In normal market circumstances, it's $3,000. So most of our customers started where a single automation, they would need $3,000 in capital to deploy. Why the difference now? Well, when the market goes into this mode that it's in right now, we do not need to capture as much of the volatility because it's kind of stuck at the bottom. So we don't need the spider web to have so many different things to catch the flies. So we only need to put 1,500 in. Now, when the market changes, we're going to go back to the standard bots, not the bottom feeder bots. And those are going to take 3,000 to power to capital. I don't know when that is. Nobody knows when that is. If it does, it means the market has went up very fast, very quickly. And then that's the perfect conditions in those environments to capture the volatility, to get the most wiggle rate, the most return, the most daily cash flow. So it does slightly change. So Dan will occasionally, depending on the market circumstances. So it's happened where we've changed the setting one time since this has been running based on there's really only two market conditions. It's either where it's non-volatile like it is right now because it's kind of low, or it's normal or it's high. Low, normal, or high. In normal and high situations, you're going to employ a standard bot, which takes 3,000 in capital to run. In this situation, it takes 1,500. Does it really matter? No. What matters is you have automations running that is capturing cash flow and also having the asset in place because maybe you believe, as a lot of people do, that the future of crypto is still pretty certainly going to go up, just like it's gone up for the last 10 years over the long time horizon. Not the short term, the long term. And so that's how that works. How do you get money if you never shut the bot down? That's a fantastic question also by Warren. Thank you for asking two really good questions like that. You get money because two things happen. I want you to think of a scenario here. Let's say you bought an apartment unit for $1,500. So you bought this piece of property for $1,500. And then you have a tenant that comes and rents it from you. And that tenant pays you $10 a day in rent. The $1,500 in your seed capital is still tied up in that unit. And until you sell that unit, regardless of whether that unit goes up or down in value, your $1,500 is illiquid. It's stuck in that. So you can't get any of that money out until you sell it. However, you do get money because your tenant is paying you every single day. So the bot trading is constantly buying and selling. So that's your cash flow. That's giving you money as much as there's buying and selling within that range that's set for these bots. At any point in time, if you wish to, you could sell the apartment unit. So if a buyer came along and said, listen, I know you paid $1,500 for this, I'll give you $3,000, you could decide to sell it in that scenario. And then you take home a $1,500 profit. Here's the problem with that, though. You don't have a tenant paying you cash anymore. You don't have that continuity of money coming in consistently. You've sold the asset, right? If you have a golden goose that lays, if you have the goose that lays golden eggs, you could sell the goose, but you no longer get the eggs anymore. And so you have to make that decision. So most of the time, we'd rather keep the goose laying the eggs than selling the goose. Now, occasionally we sell the goose. Does it make sense? And as you will too. And Dan designates his philosophy of when he thinks it makes sense as just an example for you to consider and to put into your own calculus as if it would make sense for you or not. But that is how you can simultaneously be making profits consistently while never actually selling the asset. So what we're doing here in a lot of ways is not anything new. We do something that is, real estate has produced historically more millionaires than any other type of opportunity. We're taking the same concept, the oldest, most reliable concept to wealth, and we're applying it to the newest, shiniest, most effective current financial instrument in history. And that's where it gets really exciting. And if this is exciting to you, and I think it is, you can go to theplan.vip/join and get started right away. Kathy says, what does it mean to pair coins? It's a fantastic question. What it means is that you're going to have the coin that you want to invest in and hold for the long term. And then you're going to want to have the bot that's trading back and forth to capture the profit from that. So the bottom coin in this coin pair is going to be what's called a stable coin. Stable coins are designed to mimic a currency. Most stable coins are designed to mimic a US dollar. Doesn't mean that you only can get paid in US dollars or that you must use US dollars. You can use any currency pretty much in existence, but they peg it against the dollar. So that way you can say, listen, I know this one asset, that my top coin that I want to invest in for the long term, it could fluctuate. It could be worth 10 today, it could be worth 20 tomorrow, it could be worth 7 the day after that. So we don't want to tie up the profits that we get from these bots in that fluctuating asset in the short term, because it could go up, down, sideways, right? So we let the bot trade and we let the bot take the money out in a stable coin, which then goes to your exchange. And then you can convert that stable coin, whatever amount that is, into whatever fiat currency. What currency do you have in your checkbook right now, or your wallet, I should say, your pocketbook? We just convert it to that. and then it can be sent to you. It can be loaded in, depending on the exchange, on a like a debit card, so you could use it just like you would a card. It could be transferred into your bank account, wire transfer. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can churn that bot profit into the money that you're used to spending right now, or you could reinvest it. It's all on you. Okay. Here's a good question. I'm gonna answer this one. Logan's saying, and I'm going to quote him on this. He says, "I'm just saying," this is how he prefaces it. He says, "It's messed up to charge that much if y'all are already profitable that much," like he showed in this call. And I want to address that. Is this a significant investment? Absolutely it is. $34.97 or 4 installments of $9.97, that's a lot. And then you have to also invest in the software, and then you got to have the capital to invest in the cryptocurrency. Is that a lot? You're damn right it is. Is it worth it? I believe it is. You know how many support staff we have? We have 50 plus support staff. Unfortunately, they're not bots. And I'm joking because I'm glad that they're not bots. They're real human beings, wonderful human beings that staff 24/7, 365. Our support desk and our first level of support answers in under 60 minutes. But we have to feed those people. We have to provide for those people in their livelihood. And that's a lot more than you would think it is. And we would rather have that and charge a higher, more premium investment than not give you that. I would rather you not sign up, because then at least if you don't have the adequacy of support, it's not from us. We want to give you the very best because it's your money at stake here. So, you know, that's how we play that game. But it's not just that, is it? Things are constantly changing in the crypto space and even in automations. What Dan just showed you today, he didn't mention this, and I'm glad he didn't because it might have confused you if we said it too early, but the software that runs the automation just changed their interface today. Today. Couldn't have come at a worse time in a sense because we're showing you this in real time live here, but that's how the world works. So don't you think we have a team of people that are on the research team that run and do this for a living and that are going to design and update the course as soon as we possibly can? You better believe it. So the ongoing adjustment of the education and the refactoring and the refitting of it, that's what you're investing in. And of course, you're also investing in Dan's wisdom and knowledge. And what expert do you know comes cheap? You think Tiger Woods hires the cheapest coaches? Hell no, he doesn't. When it comes to what is most important in your life, you shouldn't look at the cheapest provider. You should look at the one that has the best track record. You should look at the one that provides the most support. You should look at the one that creates the most updates, the ones that are most current, the ones that provide the most success for our members. And you can't find one better than us. And I can say that absolutely with 100% conviction and certainty. So, but I get it. I get it. If you judge everything by its price, then you only know the cost of something. But if you judge things by the value, then maybe you can make decisions that are going to be most effective for you. And if you don't see the value in there, I'll never convince you of it. All I know is we've had tens of thousands of people who have seen the value, and I'm proud that we've been able to invest so much time and resources and energy and effort into helping and supporting them. And so this is what it's at. theplan.vip/join. Dwayne says, is there a minimum purchase amount following software purchase and sign up? I'm assuming you mean the investment capital of $1,500. Now, this is also an interesting thing on the back of what I just answered, right? I wish it was this case where I could say, hey, listen, it only takes $50 to run one of these automations. Would I sell more courses? Yes, I would. And I'm in the business of selling courses. That's what we do. We're a publishing company. We find the very best thing that we can on the topic, and then we create the best support and the marketing around it to get it into the hands of the people that need it. But we don't say you only need $50 to power one of these crypto automations. Some people out there will do that. And that is not safe. That is like saying, okay, listen, we're going to make a spider web, but we're only going to have 5 lines in it. And it's going to be this big. And then the spider dies of starvation because too many flies can fly right through it. There's too many holes in the web, if you will. So I would rather, again, risk losing the sell. Because some people be like, I don't want to put 1,500 in. Well, I can't help you then, because unless you put 1,500 in, it's not the safest based upon our estimation. It doesn't properly mitigate the risk of uncertainty as best as we possibly can. So I would rather risk losing a sale and asking you to put in the minimum 1,500 per automation, just so I know those of you who follow this plan are following it with the safest amount of protocol that there possibly is. Now, can we completely make it safe? No, the world is unsafe by nature. It's a very, very interesting world out there where sometimes people that do nothing can get hit by cars. Yeah. Does that mean we stay indoors all day? Hopefully not. And so the idea here, though, is we give what, based on Dan's understanding is and his experience in all the trials and testing, this is the type of grid you want to run, and it requires this much capital to minimize the downside as much as we possibly can without capping the upside. It's 1,500 in the current market conditions. It will go up to 3,000 under normal conditions. I do not know when those conditions will be. I would say that this is an urgency on your part to sign up today, because you should get involved when it is 1,500. You can buy too many times as much automations. The good news is don't you know a pattern here? Regardless of how the marketing is functioning, aren't the bots working? And that's what we want. If you have something that only works when conditions are favorable, you're going to lose, because the conditions don't always stay favorable. This is like somebody who wants to start a business, but they only want to work when they feel like it. Well, guess what you have? You have a failure. In a business, you have to work even when you don't necessarily feel like it. You have to do it when you have a headache as well, right? So if you only have a system, and this is most crypto systems out there, that relies on it when market conditions are favorable, you don't have a system. You have a failure in the making. But we are here showing you in these conditions and in any conditions, we've been through several cycles, and we're showing you, here's what it is. Here's how you can get involved. Now, do you think long-term crypto is going to be on the rise? Who knows for sure, but smart money is saying that it is. A lot of people that are really into this and really understand it think that it is. And a lot of them think for the reasons, not because Bitcoin is just the cool kid on the block, but because there's a lot of technology shifting to the blockchain. And when technology shifts, markets shift. So when the technology shifted from the taxi, the phone, right, to the app, Uber, the money shifted. When music shifted from compact CD technology to MP3 technology, the money went from record companies to Apple and to Spotify. When the technology shifts, the market shifts. So when the technology shifts to the blockchain, which it's doing, and you're running these automations where you're holding these coins, because we only look at large cap coins. We only look at the best of the best coins out there that have actual utility, that's being designing technology to disrupt its industry. Just like Instagram disrupted Kodak. Digital cameras, digital photography, forget that, right? Not anymore. Kodak went out. Instagram became billions and billions of dollars worth of value. We're going to see a wealth transference based on most experts, their estimation. It's going to occur because more and more industries are going to the blockchain. Now, I don't want you to bet all on black and hope and pray that you're going to find the next moonshot. That's way too risky. Way too risky. I don't do that. Dan doesn't do that. I don't want you to do that. I wouldn't want you to do that if you were my best friend and you came to me and said, hey, Jason, should I do this? I would try to talk you out of it. Instead, we want to have assets across the board that we can make cash flow on and capture that wiggle rate. And if some of them shoot out in the future, because some of them probably will, because, seems like some of them are going to disrupt technology because of what they're doing and what they're developing. Fantastic. But what sucks about waiting for that to happen is, generally speaking, you don't make money while you wait. If you buy and hold a stock, you don't make money unless it pays a dividend. Now, most stocks, they pay miserable dividends, and they only pay them very, very far and few in between. Let's get a dividend. Let's get it quickly. Let's get it a good chunk of it. Some of these are producing 1%, 2% or more in 2 weeks. Some of these things, the average rate, if you looked at earlier when Dan was showing the demo bots, was like 6% a month when you aggregate the months across the board of everything that he was holding. Wouldn't you like a 6% cash flow on your investments every single month? So regardless of whether the stock went up or down, you got a 6% dividend every single month. It just is like bang, 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 bang. That's game-changing money. That's life-changing money, my friend. And then, of course, you're like, I still own the stock. So I think it's going to go up in the future because it always has. I think real estate is going to go up in the future because it always has, right? So while we wait for it to do that, at least if, it continues to hold that way, make cash flow, man. And we can be involved in something that's life-changing instead of being on the sidelines. The plan.vip/join. If you want to be involved, that's where you would need to jam with us. All right. This is a good question from Graham. The markets are huge. He's right. But what he's concerned about is, what if all of us jump into the same coin at the same time? Would it get congested and somehow cause a problem? Who knows? The answer is if too many people, let me caveat that real quickly for you. If too many people were to all push money in on one thing at the same time, what would happen? The answer is who knows? Could it go down? Maybe. Would it stay the same? Maybe. Would it go up? Actually, probably, most likely, because it would look like demand was there. And so people on the outside would be like, wow, it looks like this is important because look at all these people putting money in it. So the probability of more people putting all money into the same thing of the coin going up seems to be the highest. But even then, I don't know. I'm not trying to predict the weather 6 months from now. What I know is this. If we had 100 times the amount of members that we have now, and they had 100 times the amount of capital to invest that they have now, we are still a rounding error in terms of market size. We are nothing. We are insignificant. We are not the whales. See, the whales control like 90% of the market. They always do, any market. The whales, there's 6 billionaires control 50% of the wealth in the United States, something like that. That's just the natural law of distribution. These are not retail type of investors like you and me. These are institutions. These are behemoths, right? And the problem with them is it's hard to predict what they will do. So if Elon Musk has a weird twilight tweet that he just puts out, one night, could make the market go haywire. It's been done before. It'll happen again. How can you predict that? You can't. How can you prepare for that? You really can't. And so we don't move markets. We can't move markets. There are a few people, and only a few, that can move markets. They will do it in ways that you can't predict. And so therefore, we don't play that game. We play the game where as long as there's volatility, there's money to be made by using these automations. And so when they shake the market up, as they will, we're okay with that. But all of us together times 100 couldn't do that because we don't represent the multiple billions of dollars in buying power and selling power that these very few institutions do. And we never will. But we don't have to. We don't have to. And you don't need to be a billionaire in order to be happy. What you probably need is a few extra $1,000 per month coming in free and clear without you doing hardly anything for it. For most people, that is life-changing. That is the difference between no vacations and multiple vacations a year. That is the difference between having to share the cars and having their own cars. This is the difference between saying, oh, no, we better worry about where we're going to order out to eat tonight and then dining out instead at a nice restaurant. This is often the difference between a sleepless night worrying about finances and a night where you sleep well because you have money for the emergencies and you have money coming in consistently that didn't exist before. That's the difference. And then you do this over time and it compounds. And that's the eighth wonder of the world, as Einstein said, is compound interest. And so, yeah, you do pretty well in the short term from a life change perspective if these bots wiggle well for you. But then you do even better from a long-term perspective because you compound your way where it starts to pick up steam. It becomes an avalanche, a snowball that turns into an avalanche. And that's the power of compounding. Yep. Let me see where else we're here. All right. Yeah. So theplan.vip/join. That's where you need to go to join. Whenever you want to take some profit, Manuel asks, do you have to close a bot? Yes. If you want to take profit from the coin you're holding. However, the bot itself is taking profit off the table and putting it into your exchange, which you can then do whatever you want with it constantly. So when Dan showed you earlier, he said, hey, this one thing has traded 400 times in the short period of time that we've held it. The automation had traded that coin pair 400 plus times. Generally, it's 50-50. So it bought it 200 times and it sold it 200 times. So 200 instances when you held that coin, you got paid 200 times in your exchange. That was money that was pulled out of being traded and putting into your exchange. That's like pulling money out of the market and putting it into your bank account. 200 times. So 200 times a month on that one coin pair, you could get paid if it was running for a month. Who here wants to get paid 200 times a month on one automation? Yeah, powerful. So that's how you can make profit without doing anything to the bot, closing it, adjusting it, thinking about it. You could go on a retreat for a month where you're not connected to the internet in any way, shape, or form. Do a full dopamine detox. Come home 30 days later, and that bot has stored up a nice little chunk of profit for you in your exchange. But if you also want to sell the asset in terms of the coin you want to hold for a period of time that you put the $3,000 into or the $1,500 into or whatever you put into it, 1,500 or above, then you could close the bot, capture that profit. But here's what you could do in that scenario. You could just start the bot again. So start the settings based upon the current price of the bot. If it makes sense to, check Dan's rules and say, okay, if it's priced at this, let me do it. Okay, if it makes sense, you can run the bot again. So I have closed bots, taken all the profit out, and then restarted the bot again. And I did that because I wanted to play with house money. So I'm like, okay, now I've captured so much profit that my initial principal investment is more than covered. Let me pull that off the table, and now let me just play with pure profit. And you can do that. You don't have to do that. It's a personal decision. Dan talks about asset allocation and diversification in the plan. It's not just the automations. The automation is the sizzle that sells the steak. It's so much more robust than that. But that's how that works. The plan.vip/join. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And yes, Matthew, when it's time to return to standard bots, we'll be taught the adjust strategy. You certainly will. It's already in the members area. We'll just let you know, okay, go from this strategy to that strategy. Okay. Investment capital. Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up, Michael. The difference here is there is an investment in yourself and your education to better yourself. And that's the plan. So that's the course. That's the program. And that's $34.97 or 4 installments of $9.97. So you need to make that investment. That's the most important investment is in yourself. But then there's the capital investment, meaning the amount of money you want to put into the crypto market. So when I speak of investment capital or capital investment, I'm speaking of the money that you're going to put into the market. And so that is above and beyond. That's why we have this slide here to help you understand that, is that you will need that in addition. Now, some people say, Jason, I can only make the investment in the plan today. I don't have enough after that to invest in crypto. What should I do? And I'm going to tell you this. In the past, I used to say, well, I don't know. Let's take a look and see if it makes sense for you to sign up or not based on these factors. And then I realized I was wrong. The answer is you should sign up anyway. And let me tell you why. Because you want to start running demo bots. Before you ever run a live bot, I want you to run demo bots. And I want you to run multiple demo bots, because then you can see how all of them perform. And then maybe you might want to decide, just maybe, hey, this one is producing more cash flow than the rest of them. That's probably the one I want to go with live. Now, past performance doesn't predict the future, of course. It could change, but I like having multiple different bots to consider that are running in demo mode before I turn one of them online. So even if you don't have real money to invest in the crypto market, you get a whole bunch of pretend money to invest that you can run the demo bots. And you can use our exclusive bonus. I hope you remember that, the coin pair research bonus, where each month we publish dozens. Or over the course of the 3 months, I should say specifically, we're going to publish dozens and dozens of settings for you to use. And you can plug all of those into the demo bot. And then you can see how they run for yourself. And then that you can do that while you save up the capital to invest in crypto over a period of time, over the coming months. Because here's one thing I will tell you. We're done opening up this course for the rest of this year. We don't have a date set when we're going to open it up again next year. Generally, we don't open them up unless it's 6 months apart, because we spend most of our time supporting our customers, not selling new customers, supporting the existing clientele that we have. And occasionally we take on new ones, and we do it in very focused situations like this, where we get a whole bunch of people excited over a period of a week or two. We take in who it makes sense to take in, we close the doors, and then we go to work. So there's very few times this is open. Most of the time it's closed. You heard Dan earlier make his case on why he thinks the timing is as good as it's ever going to be for you to get involved now. I don't know if it's going to get any better than this, and you're already here. So let's just, call it what it is. This is where preparation and opportunity meet. The plan.vip/join. Do all members get the same setting because each pair has the same setting? Yes. In coin pair research, they do, Warren. That's a great question. And none of you will all be able to run all of the settings, because if you were to run, say you get 36 settings, each one of them would take 1,500 to run live, right? I mean, some of you could run $50,000 or $60,000 across all of those bots, because that's what it would take to power them. 1,500 times 36 bots, right? So some of you will choose some bots, some of you will choose other bots. But also, in addition to that, I want you to use the same rule set to find your own. But fish and eat some of the fish that we prepare for you. Is there an annual fee? Claudia, great question. So in the financial world, which we're not a part of, I like that. Just like Tesla wasn't part of the automobile industry, that's probably why they were more effective than anybody in the automobile industry. We're not in the financial industry. I know for a fact that financial companies, they don't sell you a lifetime access. What they do is they sell you an annual access. So you would just get rebilled $34.97 every single year if this was the case. That's not us. This is a one-time investment of $34.97 or 4 installments of $9.97, and that's it from our end. There's no rebilling again in any update, and every update that we do to the training, you get as part of a member. Obviously, the automation software, that's an ongoing monthly thing. That's not our company. That's a third-party company. Their prices could change. Who knows what those will be? The investment capital will either be $1,500 in its current market conditions, or it'll be $3,000. But you invest with us once, and you're with us for life. John says, if you set up the bot and do nothing, can you lose all your capital if there's a market crash? You can. There is no thing that you can do that's worth doing where there's a possibility where you can't lose everything, okay? Now, you can't lose more than you put in. So there are systems out there that teach you leverage. So a lot of these big gains that you see out there that people are touting and saying, look at how much money I made. What they didn't tell you is they ran these systems using what's called leverage, where they say, listen, I'm going to put in $100, but I'm going to get $5,000 worth of buying power. And that works good if it goes up. But if it goes down, you owe more, not just the 100 you put in. You owe a lot more if it goes down. So you're leveraging your money. So if you win 10x as much, but if you lose 10x as much. And we don't want to do that. We don't want you to lose more than you can put into the market. Now, it is damn near impossible. And I've ran thousands and thousands of automations that I've seen across members, and I've never seen anybody lose every single penny that they put into it. I've seen people lose sometimes 90%. It occasionally happens. I've seen many more people make over 100%, actually. So there will be variance. This is why we want to have multiple bots running. And by the way, here's what's really cool about this. There are instances where I've had coins that have went down 50 or 60%, but I've still made a profit. If I were to sell that day, even though the coin dropped 60%, my bot has produced more than 60% in profit in terms of the wiggle profit. So isn't it wonderful that you can be in a situation where you could lose 60% of the value of the asset and walk away with a profit, because everybody else would lose 60% and be done. So when we lose less. And when we win pretty good, because we win if we sell the asset, and we win because we captured all that profit in the meanwhile. But yeah, I just want to be very clear with you. It is unlikely, but it's not impossible with any investment that you make where you couldn't lose it all. It's absolutely, you could lose it all with anything. You could invest in a stock and it could go bankrupt. You can invest in a real estate deal and it could just completely fall apart. It's possible, but is it probable? It's that whole thing that I keep saying earlier. It's possible if you cross the street, you get hit by a car. So should you never cross the street again? Well, no, you should look both ways. You should follow the directions, and you should, of course, use some common sense. And we teach all of those things in the plan: the directions, the look both ways, the common sense, the streets that are the least riskiest to cross, if we want to continue using this metaphor, and on and on and on and on. And we're here to support you the whole way. 50 plus support agents on staff here to help you. theplan.vip/join. Okay. Any last questions? We're going to wrap up here. Now, some of you have asked flavors and variations of different questions that I've answered, but if it's a super duper important question, go ahead and put it back in now, and I'll have the team feed it over to me here, and we'll see if we can answer it real quickly.
Jason, we have to give away prizes.
And then I was going to say, yes, we got to give money away too. Thank you for reminding me. That's my business partner, Will. Jan says, so to make any actual financial gain is up to me at how fast or how slow I choose to go, or will I have support along the way? Correct. You will always have support. No matter how much money you're making, regardless of whether you've even set up a bot or not, support is always in your corner. It's always your friend, right? Now, in terms of how fast and slow you need to be, that is up to you. It really only takes a few hours of training to actually run a bot. It's funny because you learn everything up front in terms of running a bot, and all the extra training and curriculum, very little direct, specific, applicable, immediate usage for you with it, but we thought it was important that you know it. And so it's very quick and it's very easy to learn the system and have it running. But if it takes you 9 months for whatever reason, say all of a sudden, you sign up and you have the best intentions to start tomorrow, and then your friend calls you up and say, hey, listen, we're going to travel the world for the next 180 days together on me. Let's go have an adventure. I want you to go take that adventure. When you come back, the plan will be waiting for you. So say 9 months from now, you start then running automations and you say, hey, remember me? I'm Miss Jan. I signed up 9 months ago. I'm just getting started today. I got this question. I was going through the material here. I'm trying to set this bot up. Can you help me? We will support you. Some customers we have supported now for over 10 years because we've been a company. We're going on 12 years. We've been a company for 12 years, and there's customers of ours from 12 years ago we are still supporting to this very day. Well, let's give away some money, man. Let's do 5 people each, right? How much per person?
Yeah, five people get $500 each.
Yeah, let's give away some money.
Okay. Let's see. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask you a question about what you heard about here today. And in order to enter the contest here, you need to answer that question in the chat box. So if you're on a mobile device, start figuring out how to answer or how to add, how to type stuff in the chat box. It does not matter what the answer is. You don't have to get the right answer. The only thing that matters is that you type in and send in an answer to the chat box, and that you only do it once. If you get selected and later when we audit, we see that you answered that question more than once, then you will be disqualified and we will randomly select somebody else. So it's really important that you only enter once by answering the question one time. Jason, what question would you like answered?
Yeah, there's a 2-word phrase that Dan says that you should be doing 98% of the time once you have a bot running. What is that phrase? What is those 2 words? Put those into the chat now.
Okay, it's scrolling really fast here. A lot of people are answering, so we'll give them a few seconds to answer. Somebody asked, what kind of computer or what kind of device do I need? Do I need a PC? Do I need a Mac? What do I need? It does not matter what device you have. The software does not run on your computer. All you need is a web browser. Okay. Now, with that said, we do not recommend that you try and do this from your phone or even a tablet. So having some type of computer, whether it's a PC, a Mac, or even a Chromebook, that all will work for you. Okay, Jason, I think we're about to draw. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start scrolling through. I'm not even going to look. I'm going to scroll up and down randomly here with my mouse. And Jason is going to tell me where to stop. And wherever that stops, whatever name is on the screen, wherever that stops, is where that person is going to win. So tell me where to stop, Jason.
Stop.
It stopped at Michael Murphy. Michael Murphy. So just Michael Murphy, if you would please, Michael, put in the chat box your phone number and your email address where we can best contact you to arrange to deliver the $500 prize. And okay, I got copied this information. And I'm ready for the next one, Jason. I'm scrolling, buddy. You tell me where to stop.
Stop.
Okay. John Herbert. John Herbert. Hebert. Not Herbert. Hebert. John Hebert. I hope I'm saying the name
Maybe
correctly.
A Bear even. He might be from Louisiana.
So Jonathan Hebert, if you would please give us your information, your email address, and your phone number. Okay, Michael, I got yours. Sorry, Jason, give me a second. I got to copy and paste these so I can make sure we have them for the team. Okay, here I go again. I'm scrolling, Jason. Tell me to do my thing here.
Stop.
Lajos Nagy. Lajos Nagy or Nagy. If you would please give us your phone number and email address where we can contact you. Okay, Jason, that was 3 if these people answer, and I assume they're going to answer. So tell me where to stop.
Stop.
Alex Beckman. Alex, if you would please give me your phone number and email address, the best contact information possible for you so we can make sure we get you your prize. So if my count is correct, that's 4. I got one more.
Stop.
I'm scrolling, Jason.
Yeah. Did you get me?
Nope.
Okay, stop.
David Kerwin. David, if you would please give us your best phone number and email address in the chat box, please. So that was 5 people. Let me just make sure. While I seek for this information, Jason, if you want to ask any more questions or answer any more questions.
Let's see here if we got any more to put in there. Oh yeah. So I think you already answered this, but I'll just reinforce it. Do I need a PC? You need some way to connect to the internet. Ideally, you do this on a computer, a laptop, or a regular computer, but just set up an automation because it's a little easier to run the interface than it is on a mobile device. But then once you have the automations running and set up, you check them on mobile. I check them all the time on my phone. And that's the way that you want to do it after that. So that's it. You don't need to have any other fancy connections. And in fact, after you set up an automation, you don't even have to have access to the internet anymore because this is all run on the cloud. Yeah, if you have any other questions, go ahead and put them in here before we wrap. We have all 5 too, Will, is that right? That we drew?
Yeah, we have all 5. I'm just copying and pasting their contact information now.
Gotcha.
So each one of you have won $500 and we are going to contact you within the next 48 hours to deliver those prizes. Jason, now I'm gonna throw you we don't shy away from tough questions. So if you have tough questions, then ask them because this is your opportunity to get them answered. I forget who it was that asked, but there was a question that says, "Hey, I can't afford the plan. Is there a less expensive plan?" Address that, Jason, please.
No, there isn't. I mean, I'll give you a silly story, right? So Five Below is this store here in California where essentially everything that they sell is $5 or less, as a rule. And my son and I went down there the other day because they just like to go to the store, him and my daughter and I, and he really wanted these shoes. Like he was like, "Oh, these sandals, I really like them, Dad. They're only $5. Let's buy them." They lasted 3 days. They lasted 3 days before they broke. And so while they only cost $5, they were cheap. The actual value was we paid about $1 a day to wear those shoes. Now I have a really nice pair of Tom Ford dress shoes that I wear every time I go out and I have to look professional. And they were over $1,000 for those shoes, but I've had them for 5 years. And so the actual cost per day on my Tom Ford dress shoes was cheaper than his $5 pair of sandals. And so I don't know any alternatives that are not too risky for you, from my estimation and my opinion. So I'd rather you do it right or not do it at all. It reminds me of another lesson that somebody told me early on that helped me with my investment mindset. He says, would you take a life insurance policy out that only covered you 29 days of the month? He says, what if I sold it to you at half price? Would you take it out then? And the answer is no, because you know how that works with Murphy's Law. The one day you die is the day that it wasn't covered on the policy, right? You want to have sufficient coverage. You want to have it covered 24/7, 365. You want to have it holistically surrounding you. And that's never going to be cheap. But when it's stuff that's worth doing, it's worth doing right. And so this is the investment that we can provide to you where we feel the most comfortable. Now, have we made it as economic as possible? We absolutely can, because you could easily go out there and find crypto systems that do half of what we do that charge 5 times as much as what we charge. And people pay it because even then they feel like the opportunity to grow beyond what they invest makes it worth it. So we do get this as economic as we possibly can for you, so we can take on and help as many of you as we possibly can, but we don't cut corners. And that's the end of it. And I risk losing customers that maybe I could affect, but I would rather make sure you have everything you need and charge a little more than not have what you need and try to just cut a little bit of the cost. Because at the end of the day, 2 years from now, if this system works out to you as advertised, you won't even remember what you paid for it. Whether it was $29.97, $34.97, $1,000, you won't remember. You won't care, because in the grand scheme of things, it's negligible. What isn't negligible, though, is do you have assets that are producing returns for you on a consistent basis? Are you involved in a market that is disrupting life as we know it? And are you doing it in the proper way with the proper guidance? That's what matters. And we don't have much time left, so the plan.vip/join to get started on it.
Jason, I believe you've answered almost every question, if not every question here in some way, shape, or form throughout your Q&A period.
We're
scrolling
always
through the
available
questions.
during support too. So if you ever need us in support at rapidcrush.com. It's on that page. At any point in time, if you need us before, during, or after you sign up, we're here to help you. So if you need anything from us, write to us at support at rapidcrush.com, or better yet, just go to the plan.vip/join. On that page, there's a link to support. You can reach us there. We have tons of questions that we answer on that page as well. All that information is there. The only exception is those coin pair research, that extra special bonus. You get a $300 service for 3 months. That's a $900 value. You get that for free, where literally the settings are done for you based on the research and the exact market conditions as they're presented. Copy and pastable settings to run and set up bots and automation in demo mode. That's not listed on the page, but nonetheless, you get that when you sign up at the plan.vip/join. Wilson, anything else?
That's it, my friend. Thank you very much, Jason. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And like Jason said, support at rapidcrush.com, or better yet, the plan.vip/join. At the bottom of that page, you will see a link to support. Contact us anytime. That's what our support team is there for, to help you.
Excellent. We'll see you all on the inside. Talk soon. Bye for now.